So, what we're doing today is that we're choosing our 3 favorite games from the online Olympiad. And this is the Gazprom Brilliancy Prize that we're giving out. Mm-hmm. And together we've been looking at the different games. And together we've come up with 3 games. So we're going to start with the third one, with the game that we give 1 point to. Once again, we give 1 point to the third game, 2 points to our second favorite game, and 3 points to our favorite game. All right, awesome. So, this is a game played between Thomas Kapitanchik and Adam Kozak. So this was when they were playing Argentina versus Hungary in the second division of the Olympiad. We thought it was a really great game, and we're going to be showing you this game now. So let's look at this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So this was actually you've been going through this opening, right? You've been going through. We looked at it once here in the channel.
Yeah, we looked at it once. Yes. So this is what you can call, this is the Italian. When you go bishop c4, you go bishop c5, and now white can try to play more. White can maybe try to play more aggressive, try to push in the center, or to play the slow way. And the slow way became very popular when Magnus Carlsen, the world champion, started to play it, because whatever he plays, he's very successful. And this is his way of playing slowly. And now it has become one of the really main lines for white to play this slow Italian. And then it's one opening, but in the opening, it's like different openings, because you have so many different ways of playing it. So it's very, very rich and full of ideas for both white and black. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. So it's very interesting, and it's played in so many levels as well.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see it in this high level. See how they play.
Yeah. And actually, when you come to high level, after e4, lots of players want to go e5, because this is a good way to equalize. But really, also among the really best players in the world, this e4, e5, and this Italian is playing all over again, Italian or Spanish.
Yeah.
So
let's continue. Thank you also Dutch Day for subscribing. Thank you. Okay, so c3 was played here. So wait, let's see if you can join a bit us in the middle.
Absolutely. It makes it easier for me also. Now I see better. And now it comes here d3. Yeah. Because there's a choice. White could have gone d4. This will be a forced line, normally sacrificing a pawn. But this is not the intention of white nowadays. The intention is to go d3, you defend the pawn in e4, and later on you decide your plans. You want to go for d4, but you want to first to develop castle, maybe go out with a knight and bishop, and then you're planning for pushing in the center.
Yeah. And d6 was played here.
Yeah.
All looks very natural. And a5 to stop b4, yeah?
Yeah, it's to stop b4. And this is a little bit a matter of taste. Some people like to go a5. Some people like to put a pawn only on a6. Because the disadvantage with a5 is that now the square b5 is a little weak. But it's a matter of taste. Everything is fine to play. And I guess a5 is one of the most common over here.
Because white can also go b4 even earlier in the game, right?
Yeah, white could have gone b4.
But then it would be a different line.
Yeah, but normally white, you mean already sacrificing the pawn? Or...
Well, yeah, I mean, I just know that there are some lines with b4, but we don't need to get into that.
No, absolutely not.
I thought that, and yeah, by the way, it is the intention that we're watching this from Black's point of view. I don't know if that gives you a little spoiler of what's gonna happen in the game, but it's the intention. Yeah. So h6 was played, and is this then to stop bishop g5 here?
Yeah, it's to stop bishop g5, because you're a little bit wasting a tempo, but because it's closed, the position is closed in the center, and white has played d3. If white going d4, it took two tempos. So it's a useful move, because if you go castling, you can just show it if you want. If you would have gone castling, and now bishop g5 comes, and then you go h6, bishop h4, and when you go g5, now actually black always has to be ready for that. White can take on g5. Maybe this is no danger, but it's a little bit unpleasant.
With a knight then?
With a knight, yeah. You take with a knight, you can just show it, just to show this pin, which is very, take with a pawn back, and here. And you see this pin is annoying, because the black, you take. You see the black bishop is on c5. If the black bishop was on e7, this was no danger at all. Yeah. But this pin is a little bit awkward. And after will come maybe queen f3. And especially in a game where we don't have so much time, it's always unpleasant to be under attack. But it's just an
Yeah.
idea. And if you don't like to play against this thing, then you can go h6 very early just to avoid it.
It's very interesting, the sacrifice here.
Yeah, these sacrifices, you have it in many different ways. Sometimes it's good, maybe sometimes it's unclear. Maybe it's completely fine for black, but it's a little bit unpleasant to have this open king.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, as you're saying, the important thing here is that the bishop is on c5. It's not on e7. Whoops, sorry.
Yeah.
It's not on e7, so this could definitely be a threat at some point.
Yeah, this will be annoying.
Okay. So let's go here and see what happened. Knight a3 was played.
Yeah, okay, the idea is actually to go with a knight to e3. So you can go in two ways. You could have gone another way to get there, with knight e2, knight f1, and knight e3. But the knight is going to, you can show the other way. The other route could have been this way. And
this way?
Yeah, and the rook in e1.
And this is the other way.
Yeah, this is that. And now we know why white wanted to go a4. Because if a4 was not played, knight a3, then black could have taken maybe an a3 and you get bad pawn structure. But now after knight a3, you don't take it because you don't give your bishop so easy, because white would take back with the rook, keep the nice pawn structure, and have the bishop pair.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Well, castle, knight c2. Here we're seeing what you're saying. Bishop e6. The bishop got out.
Yeah, the bishop got out, and the bishop wants to take control of this in the center. So that's why he decided to put it on e6. You can also go bishop g4 if you want.
Bishop g4, yeah.
Yes, then you go h3 and you kick the bishop. Okay,
Yeah.
if you take on f3, you have the good bishop, you have the bishop pair. And if you go bishop h5, you can do it, but it's a little bit on the wrong diagonal. You don't go g4, but where is the bishop going?
Yeah, it's in the wrong diagonal.
Yeah, it's in the wrong. It's so much stronger on e6, yes, to play against the bishop on c4, which is looking at the king side. So bishop e6.
This bishop seems to be so much stronger than the bishop on h5 too.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's no sense to go bishop g4, because h3 is just a useful move. It's a move you always want to make, because in the end games, when changing pieces, you have maybe the rooks left, then you don't want to be mated on the last rank. And then you like to have the small move played h6 and h3 to have a little space for the king.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why bishop e6 is a very standard move yeah. And now he took, he could have waited, but he took, or he could have gone back. And there is, now black gets a double pawn, but at the same time, you have a pawn on e6 which control d5, so it's not bad at all. And you open the f line. So this is, so, I mean,
here we can see how it looks.
It looks like, exactly. And you have this pressure along the f line looking at f2. So this double pawn is, I think it's no disadvantage for black to have it.
And typically having double pawns in the middle is not really, or in the center, it's not a bad thing at all.
No.
Right? Because at some point, okay, maybe not here, but at some point you can try to take a lot of space in the center by going d5 or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Sometimes you can go d5. And also, like this, for example, sometimes knight h4, knight f5 could be annoying.
Yeah.
Yes, this maneuver. But it doesn't exist with a pawn on e6.
Here we can see a maneuver like knight h4, knight f5.
Yeah, because the knight on f5, this is it can be a very strong knight, but it doesn't exist here. So to take with a pawn, you have a lot of control in the center, and you have an open file. So like you say, the double pawns in the center can be very strong, and because they are connected with another pawn, they are not isolated.
Yeah. Absolutely. And another thing I was going to say here is that, because, what is going on? Oh my, what is going on? Okay, so another thing that I was going to say is that after pushing h6, then what happens with this g6 square? Because I think that some people might feel like, we're giving up this square now that we're taking on e6 with f pawn. Yeah. Right? But maybe it's okay because you can play something like queen e8 and just protect the pawn.
Yes, yes, exactly. Because there is a knight which can jump into g6, but it cannot be supported by another piece. So it's no problem. Because after knight h4, okay, now there's maybe some tactics on e4, but in general, knight h4, knight g6, it doesn't do anything because it's alone there.
Yeah.
And we can always avoid it with queen 8, queen f7, like you said, or even knight e7 if you want to. So the knight on the rim has no future. But it's true. You always, of course, has to think about it. Can there be something on g6 that bother me?
Yeah, absolutely. So here we go, bishop e3.
Yes.
And now we have the same thing.
Yes. Can I
But
just
knight
go
takes.
back?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, in this just wanted to say that black now has to take or move his bishop. It's not allowed to let white take on. Let's say we make a little queen e7 move, for example.
Yeah, let's
Yes.
go here.
And now you take, and now you take. Then you see that this e5 and e6, now they are alone. We don't have support from the d6 pawn. And now this is not the same. So you don't want to play this.
No, this looks really bad. We can have one double pawn, but having two double pawns, it doesn't feel good.
No, it doesn't feel good when we don't have. Yes, no, it doesn't feel good when we don't have any d pawn.
Yeah.
With the d pawn, it would have been better, but this absolutely not.
Yeah. Thank you also 68 for gifting us up to Let's Give It a Mod. Thank you. Okay, so let's go back. So that's why bishop e3 was played. Natural, but now white took with the knight. The knight, as you said, wanted to go to e3.
Yes, this was the plan with this knight e3. This was the plan to go with the knight to e3. But now we see with the pawn on e6, the knight can go to f5 or to d5. So this pawn on e6 takes square for this knight. And queen in 8 is actually a move which has double function. One is maybe you wanted to go to the queen side, but you also defend the e6 pawn. So because if the e6 pawn, and it's good to have it defended.
We were getting the question if, instead of taking something like bishop a7, but the problem with going bishop a7 is that the bishop is not really doing anything here, right?
Yeah, you could have gone bishop a7, and then it's possible that white will take. But the question is, will the rook be better on a7 or a8? And I think it's better on a8, where you have connection with the two rooks.
Absolutely.
So that's. But absolutely, it was possible to play that move. But
yeah. Okay, so let's go back. So bishop takes e3 was taking, queen e8. And now the white queen got to b3, trying to attack here, putting some pressure on the queen side. Yeah.
This is a typical move. Sometimes you go queen b3 to attack b7 and also e6. So it was maybe good to have both of them defended.
Rook b8 now.
Yeah, and actually
defending.
Yes, and if black has to defend, it's much better with b8 and rook a7, because again with the rook on b8 you have connection. You can move it to another square on the last rank. But on rook on a7, the only useful thing is that it defends on b7, but it cannot go any further on the a line. So rook b8 is so much more logical than to defend.
Yeah,
and black prefers to defend with the rook than to move the pawn, because then the knight on c6 will be
we can see if a move like b6 was played, then the knight on c6 would be very lousy.
Yeah, it will be lousy. So rook b8 is logical.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on. Queen c4.
Queen c4. Yeah, this move looks a little bit funny, but I think actually white has some idea to start pushing with the pawns. And I think that's why
with these pawns.
Start pushing maybe b4 or d4. I think this is the idea, and I think that's the only idea that white find in this position. And then here we see that it was so good not to go b6.
Yeah, exactly, because then this knight would be very weak here.
Yeah, then it would have been even stronger. This move.
And now, knight h5. We're seeing some stuff happening on the other side.
Yeah, so now, black saw that white is doing things here more on the queen side.
Yeah.
Now I take the opportunity to do something on the other side when the queen is gone away. So,
Yeah, so knight h5 was played. And this is a very typical thing to see, that when the opponent's pieces are on one side of the board, here white's pieces are all on the queen side, then black is saying, okay, I need to do something on the other side. I need to counterattack. So knight h5 was played.
Yes, and also because how the pawns, normally you can see how the pawns are. When you have pawn like e5, d6, c7, maybe you can point to them, they are looking towards the king side. So, and when you have the open f line, it's like that. It's where you need to play, because on the queen side we cannot go any b5 break. We can only defend. But we saw that before going to action, black defended with rook b8, and then after that black went to action.
Yeah.
And now white played the plan to push in center. And now come rook take f3. So what do you say about this one? What do you think?
Well, I think that in this position, it's really important to look at this square, knight f4, right? So this square would have been a really good square for the knight, and after taking on f3, then what is happening is that after takes, this pawn cannot go to g3, so the knight will stay on f4 forever.
Yes, and this will be, I don't know if it's called Kasparov's knight, but this is a tremendous knight to have in front of the king, or like you said, a knight on f4, very close to the king, and it cannot be hit back by any pawns. So I think I think this looks very nice for black to give the exchange, and it's sometimes you give material because you get something compensation back, and here is that you get a fantastic knight, you get squares to play on, and you open up the king for white.
And do you think that this was missed by white, this rook takes f3?
I think so.
Here,
I think
after
so.
d4.
Yeah, I think so. Instead of d4, yes. I think so that white didn't really realize how strong this threat is to take on f3. And I guess when you go d4, now the idea is for white maybe to bring back the queen e2, I don't know, because knight f4 are coming. But I think a little bit that white was thinking of his plan, but forgot to think of, to ask himself, what is black going to do next move? What is black's idea?
And this was black's idea.
This was black's idea.
Very nice move, and a really nice thing to sacrifice and exchange here on the king side in front of the king. So, and now we see the knight going to f4, and now white already has some king problems.
White already has some king problems. And also the knight on f4, it's not only hitting towards the king, though, g2, h3, but it also avoids that the queen on c4 comes back. So we can see that queen cannot go to e2 to support.
Or to d3. Yeah, that's a really important motive too.
Yes. So the knight is like it's taking so much control of lots of squares on f4.
It's an incredible knight. Would you say that this knight is worth more than a rook?
Yes, now it's worth more than a rook.
Exactly.
Absolutely, in this position. And we can say that this is like a positional sacrifice, even if it will open up the king, because many times you can do it like that. And
d5 now, attacking the knight.
Yes, so white wants to, yes, the idea for white is simply that that if you take back with the pawn, and then you will bring back the queen to the king side with queen e4. So you will have a if you want, you can show that. If you take on e4, d5, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you take with the pawn.
And then you have this, you have this square for the queen.
And then you have this square for the queen. Yeah. And then you defend f3, so your king will become safer.
Yeah. But black didn't take on d5.
Yeah, the black
did something else.
Yeah, something very surprising.
Da 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 da! Queen h5.
Queen h5.
Giving up giving material.
Yeah, giving up even more material. Yes, a whole knight. But black is saying that, I have a knight, fantastic knight, and I bring in my queen, and we know knight and queen together are extremely strong in the attack. So it's really it was a really aggressive move. But it's when you're attacking, it's also about time. Do we have time to defend, or do we have to go on all in here? And here black is going all in.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, I was gonna ask you guys what you think will happen after d takes c6, but that is what the game was. White took on c6. So that is precisely what happened.
Yeah, shall we show something that you cannot defend on f3? Can we show this? If you try to put you try to put a knight between, what would happen then?
The knight on g2.
G4. If you try to put a knight on g4. Then we just go and attack the pawn on f3 anyway. If we go in the queen h3.
Queen h3, exactly. Yeah. We're threatening checkmate and attacking the pawn on
exactly.
F3.
So white has nothing else than to go back, and then we take on f3 and we just won a tempo. So that there was no way to defend this f3 pawn.
Yeah. Exactly. There's no way to defend it.
Mm.
Because once again, as you said before, the queen cannot go anywhere to defend it. If the queen could go to d3 or e2, it would be one thing.
Yeah, then it would be then at least you could start supporting your king side, but you cannot. So this knight is tremendous strong. It's just a fantastic outpost, and stronger, much stronger than the rook just now.
Yeah, but d takes c6 was played instead. So here we're gonna see what happens if white just doesn't care about the f3 pawn or what's going on in front of the king. This is what we're gonna see right now. So queen takes f3 was played.
Yes.
With the threat of checkmate, knight h3 checkmate.
Yes. And here there's you have only one, or you have only one choice here. There is nothing else white can play, though, because it's important also to see what happens if you move the rook.
Yeah, we'll look at that. We can see. Actually, let's look at that first. So the move that was played in this position was h4, trying to give some air for the king. But let's see what happens if, for instance, should we go here, rook e1?
Yeah, rook e1, because this is, rook e1, you move the rooks.
But then we have check and checkmate.
And checkmate.
So that's the issue. And let's see also what happens if maybe knight g2? Or then we just take it, obviously. Yeah, there's just nothing that we just take it.
Yeah, no, it's so open now.
So you have to go h4 here. Yeah. So very, very nicely played by black here. So h4 was played. And once again, trying to give this h2 square for the king. Some luft, as we say.
Yes, a little luft.
And then b5 was played. And I think this is so nice how black is all the time going for all the attack here in front of the king, and then all of a sudden, when white is defending, just boom to the other side.
Yeah, and the idea with b5 is you're attacking the queen, and also that you don't want to allow white to take on b7 and then to start queening this pawn which has gone very far away. So all of a sudden come this amazing move on the wrong side of the board. So.
Yeah, and thank you so much, Photo Chess, for the raid. Thank you so much for the raid. Hello, everyone. So nice to have all of you here. I really appreciate it. Let's keep on looking at the game. All right, b5 was played now.
Yeah, this was probably such a shocking move for the opponent, because the opponent, white was hoping to get some counterplay, with a c pawn going to b7 and then going down, but then came this shocking move.
Yeah, and queen b3 was played then, so the queen left, or the queen had to go. What happens here? Let's look what happens if takes.
Yeah, black will play in the same way, actually, because the idea with moving out the pawn was that the rook is free to play, because it's not enough with the queen and knight to win. You need to have another piece to attack with. So this is why.
You want to bring the rook in too.
Yeah, you want to bring the rook in too. So this is why he played like this.
That's actually very nice, trying to get the rook inside.
Yes.
Because even though the queen and the knight work super well together, as you're saying, we need one more piece.
And there is also a saying that when you have a knight defending your own king, it's getting safer, and the knight on e3 is very, very important. Without that, it was black would have won immediately. But so that's why black needs to have one more piece to win the game.
Yeah, precisely. Well, let's see. Queen b3 was played instead. And now, very nice. The same ideas we were looking at before. Rook f8, trying to bring the rook in.
So now
the queen is trying to... Well, white is trying to exchange queens, because that's what you need to do in a position where you're being so attacked.
Yeah, when you attack, then you have material apps, of course. If white could exchange one of the black pieces, the queen, knight, or rook, there will not be any mate, and then white would win the game. But of course, black is not allowed to it's not allowed to exchange pieces here.
So obviously black cannot do that. And knight e2 was played, stopping any queen trade.
Absolutely. So this is a very typical square also for the knight. Now it's taking away this possibility of exchanging, and also coming closer to the white king.
king h2 was played.
Yeah, that was the only escape square for the king.
And, well, we're bringing another piece in. Boom! The rook is now joining. And this
Yes.
is the best square for the rook, of course, attacking h4.
Yeah, and just threatening mating 1 now. So white has no choice than to defend this, and there's only one way.
Yeah, knight g2, the only way to defend the pawn on h4. And now very nice. I think this is such a nice game. So well played. Rook g4, now attacking this knight. What do you do with that knight? You cannot go anywhere because then black takes on h4 and it's checkmate. So what to do? The only thing you can do is to a rook g1,
Yes.
defending the knight.
And now maybe we should have a little bit of waiting to see what can happen here, because it looks like white now has bring in the rook. The queen is getting close. That it's fine for white, but there is a but here.
There is a but here, and well, maybe you're gonna say it in the chat, but yeah, you've probably seen the game. This was a very nice game, so well played. Amazing game, guys. Checkmate in 2 games. Checkmate in 2 games. Action. Yeah, there's mate in 2. Very nice. Super nice. You're saying it in the chat, but very nice. Queen takes g2. So nice. And it's forced checkmate. Rook takes, the only move. And then we have rook takes h4 checkmate. What a nice game.
Yeah, no, and this final way of mating white is just fantastic, and it's called Anastasia's Mate. I think it's from a novel when they have this pattern, and so it's called Anastasia's Mate. But it's so beautiful because the only way was to sacrifice the queen. It didn't work the other way around, and it's very typical with this pattern. You have a knight on e2, or it could be e7, or d2, d7, and then one of white's pieces is in the way. You see the rook on g2, and you need to have a rook or a queen on the h5.
Yeah, and I think that what's really nice about this game is how black just went on with their plan. You know, first the knight got in here. Black sacked the rook on f3 and got a beautiful knight on f4. Was able to bring the queen through e8, and then when everything was perfectly set for the queen and the knight, black took the last piece that was needed for the attack that actually checkmated the king, which was the rook on a8. And I thought it was so nice that black was able to do all of this without giving any chances of counterplay to white.
Absolutely. So it was very nicely played, really very nice. After this his sacrifice on f3, it just went very smoothly with very nice moves. And we shouldn't forget that they were playing this game with a quite short time. They had 15 minutes plus 10 seconds, but it's a semi-rapid game, so you don't have too much time to be too profound. But it was a very nice game and very nice finish.
Yeah. So once again, this gets our third prize or third place. Which, I mean, imagine if this is the third place, imagine the 2 first games. There were so many amazing games that were played in the online Olympiad this year. Such, an honor to have those games being played in chess. So beautiful.